The legend Bill Belichick looks like an old guy with bad eyebrows when Tom Brady is not the quarterback. I shouldn't say bad eyebrows. I should just say old person eyebrows, not caring so much about plucking and grooming. I don't know what age that happens, but there has to be an age where men stop doing that, and Belichick is that age.
Do you believe that story that he's sticking around just to stick it to Don Shula?
It's such a great report that Don Shula said something during Spygate, because Don Shula is the face of integrity, and he doesn't like cheaters. I don't believe that report, that Belichick would stick around for this particular suffering. He lives for last night. His team may have lost.
He does.
He won last night, yes. When Belichick comes to the party and can make it shitty for everybody, I don't want to watch this. What are you doing? You're taking away the best thing? I want to watch Tyreek Hill run all over the field. Don't take that from me. I've been watching football all day. Right. Don't be Maximum Belichick on a Sunday night trying to throw into the end zone at the end of the game to tie a game you should have never been tying.
He spiked the shit out of that challenge flag.
He really did. Yep. He was angry.
Can we talk for a second about that? Let's talk for a second about just that. Because I think 100 years from now, when we're trying to explain Belichick and just football to an age of people who don't understand it, we will do it this way. Okay, yeah. So the genius reaches into his sock. This is a $1 billion sport. Reaches into the sock, not his pockets. I don't know. He thinks
there should be holsters by now.
Yes. Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Should the coach have a challenge flag holster? But genius coach bends over wearing, his hobo chic.
Pull up the sweatpant, not just the sock. Pull over the sweatpant.
Right.
To get to the
sock.
Sock.
He's been wearing that sock for 3 days. You don't know if it matches the other sock because he just reaches into a bin to get dressed for the game. So the genius reaches in. He could have done this at any time, but he chose to angrily spike the flag as the ref was kneeling right next to him just to embarrass him. Throws the restaurant napkin on the floor. And it's because Belichick loves taking a giant shit in the middle of the gala.
What do you do? Like, if you're the official, because I was thinking about this when I saw the spike, right? If you're the official and you don't want to get shown up by Bill Belichick, who's doing this right in front of your face just to try to embarrass you, what if you do the thing where you're like, oh, is that a bird? Like, you're just looking around and you pretend like you don't see it on the ground because he didn't do, like, an actual throw. So you could pretend like, oh, I didn't see. Oh, it just fell from your waist.
Is that a bird?
Yeah. Oh, what's that up there?
Is that a bird?
Yeah, one of those things. You pretend to not see it. Can you do that? Probably not.
No.
You can't do that, Billy.
No.
He's got a lot of stuff in his sock. Is it all flags?
Wait a minute. Do you think were there many things in the sock? Do you think there are lumps in the sock?
Yes.
If he's putting one thing in a sock, he's putting a lot of things in a sock.
Exactly right.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. If you're putting one thing in your sock, are you putting a lot of things in your sock?
Chapstick.
There's cash in there for sure.
Nail clippers.
Nail clippers?
Yeah, for Bill.
You know that Bill's like the kind of guy that when he goes on vacation, because I was this person as a child, because I was sent, on like school trips or whatever. You know that they used to have it was almost like a fanny pack that you wore underneath your clothes where you hid like all your cash or whatever. Bill Belichick very much strikes me like someone who if he's in New York for whatever reason, he's like, gotta put my money in my sock just in case.
Well, the sock is his wallet. Mm-hmm. You're right.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Is the sock Belichick's wallet? When he pulls up the sweatpants, are you guys not assuming that the sock will be one of those that has vertical stripes at the top of it, like a 1970s coach's sock that goes over the calf?
I'm surprised it's not like the black dress sock. You know what I mean? Like, he strikes me as someone who just wears dress socks all the time. The kind that loses the elastic right away that you have to kind of get rid of, but he doesn't want to, so they kind of just sag a little bit. He wears the sad dress socks, I think.
You have him wearing tube socks?
Yeah, tube socks with the stripes from the 70s.
I picture that more than the dress sock.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm doing there.
No, I think I'm with you.
I think it's an age thing. I think it's old people that I just assume wear the dress socks that lose the elastic right away.
Stugotz. Last week, Billy shocked all of us by not only putting Jason Sanders on notice, but then escalating it very quickly to the higher standard of being put on notice, which is buck up, bucko. Buck up, bucko was the previous highest standard. But Sanders, again, they're 2-0 in games Sanders has been begging to give away at the end.
He seems to think that I'm playing around when I put him on notice and I say buck up, bucko. And I didn't want to do this. People think that I root against players when I do stuff like this. Like, people were tweeting at me. They thought that I was very happy that this happened. I'm not happy. I want him to make his field goals and his extra points. Why would I be happy about this? I don't like putting people on notice. I don't like these things, Dan.
You did more than that. You did buck up Bucko. Is there another stage? Because last night,
things were escalated.
That game last night, Stugotz, the Dolphins thoroughly handled that game. And at the end, the Patriots were able to scare you in a game they had no business doing anything in, because when the Patriots now, that offense, and it's got to be exasperating to Belichick. He had Brady, and now it'll take him 2 months to come back into the lead from down 14. Mac Jones isn't going to beat you down the field. Those receivers aren't going to beat you down the field. Belichick strangleholded that game. I don't know what the Dolphins have, 8, 9, 10 possessions. Like, it was just a shitty game.
He shortened the game.
Throw slants, throw bubble screens. All of this is going to be awful to watch. And the Dolphins had a chance to lose it at the end. And in previous incarnations of the Dolphins, especially against the Patriots, I expected them to lose it when they make the bobbled snap on 3rd and 1, when they miss the field goal. But now I trust them. I do trust them, and I don't fear Belichick and what he's got at all. That's a huge change, Stugotz. The Dolphins, when they're in 3rd and 9 and have the ball on offense, you think they're going to convert it. The Patriots are 3rd and 9, you have very little fear that they're going to do anything. It's going to be a slant, and Mac Jones is going to have to be super accurate.
It is a huge change, but, you kind of saw it coming over the last couple of years, where you knew Belichick's teams were not going to be as good because he lost Brady, because he has Mac Jones, and the Dolphins just – they keep getting better, Dan. Like, I'm not certain they're not the best team in the NFL. I know it's 2 weeks in, but they're certainly the most.
Wait a minute.
Dan, they're so good and so fun to watch.
Philadelphia just did this twice. Philadelphia was better last year.
I understand, but they're 2-0. They haven't played a home game yet.
That was not fun to watch last night. That was not fun
because
to watch.
of Belichick, not because of the Dolphins.
But I'm saying that was not a fun watch, but compared to what we got week 1. Last night, Belichick.
Wins are fun.
Wins are fun, but the Dolphins, you can't do this to me, Stugotz. You can't do week 1 Super Bowl, week 2 best team I've ever seen.
I didn't say best team I've ever seen. I just said they're a very talented team. Like, to say they're the best team in the NFL, I don't think is a stretch, Dan. I've had, Chris Sims tell me and Billy, they're the most talented team top to bottom, period, in the NFL. And that's including the Eagles.
I think yesterday what was a good sign for the Dolphins and Dolphins fans was, well, you could say defense, but also Raheem Mostert, there were some questions because he wanted to have one of those premier running backs come in here in the offseason, and they didn't do that. And it's kind of if they take away the receivers, Raheem Mostert can do just fine by himself.
Well, that was nice to see. I would have liked, if this offense is what I think it can be against everybody, Belichick included, I would have liked for them to just keep the ball the rest of the game, the way that they almost did, because the Patriots weren't really a threat at any point in that game, Stugotz. You weren't playing trailing. You didn't have to fight back against the Patriots. You're basically just warding them off at the end because they're hanging around. But that right there is slowing and neutering Tyreek Hill as much as anyone has or can. He took that away.
And they had the adjustment. That was the most encouraging part for me, is that you saw Mike McDaniel show what he's got as a play caller. He's like, okay, you're going to take this away, then I'm just going to run these zone runs and beat you to death with it. It was just really cool that Mike McDaniel seemed to have a plan for Belichick's plan.
They are 2-0, Stugotz, and I should mention, as Stugotz just did, that Billy and Stugotz to beat the NFL rush. Good Morning Football is now coming on at 7 a.m.
God bless football.
Sorry.
That's a fun, yeah.
No.
Big one.
No.
Okay.
I saw where you're
Save
doing
it.
there.
Go
Other
ahead.
one. No.
Save it.
It's not save it.
Okay.
Good Morning Football starts at 7 a.m. You guys, God bless football. Look at that, man. You guys are aggressive finers. I said that correctly.
Nice save, Luongo. Lou.
I was just
Big save.
saying that God bless football is trying to beat the rush because Good Morning Football, a totally different entity.
Yes.
Good Morning Football on the NFL Network. They found a lane, Stugotz, and the lane is we have fun with football on Monday mornings. It's not just we're going to do it serious style and analyze it. We're going to do a fun show. We're going to beat everyone to the rush of whatever Monday morning television is with a 7 a.m. show. And God bless football. Can't be bothered to get up that early. Stugotz can't be bothered to show up on time.
I was early today.
Ish.
He was early. I was still getting my makeup done when he was there.
Thank you.
God
Thank
bless
you.
football rushed in. What are the thoughts that you and Billy have on the Dolphins that aren't redundant and stolen from God bless football and you reheating leftovers? Can you give me some original thoughts, because you put them on God bless football, and I would like some original, not reruns. If you want their most authentic, excited about themselves, their own opinions, you can get that on God bless football.
In fairness, most of the opinions you're getting now are fresh because what happened was we kind of got stuck talking about Steve Spurrier's restaurant for a long time this morning.
The old ball coach. Yep.
I was stuck there for like 7 hours this weekend.
I am fine for the incarnation of this show being where you guys give your serious football analysis, and God bless football where you talk for 2 hours on a Monday morning about Steve Spurrier's
Well, also
restaurant.
we played Lucy or Goosey, and we had props for that.
Yeah, we did.
Great game.
Yeah.
Lucy
Great
or
game.
Goosey?
Yeah,
Because,
guess
Dan,
who
none of
came
us,
up with it.
we don't know who's good in college football. No one does, but Lucy does, because she cares about that sport and that thing in a way that we don't. Lucy and Jess, I would say they're the biggest college football fans we have, and so we're trying to figure out who's who before an enormous slate, and do we have a weekend coming up? We're trying to figure out who's who before the country does, and therefore we played Lucy or Goosey with Lucy this morning. She told us who's who.
Who's Goosey?
Well, Goosey means she's not really,
Yeah, you're going to have to listen. You're going to have to listen. We also did,
Lucy
Dan,
good.
week 2 contenders, pretenders, so you can get that. Also, before we get too far off of this, we can't get this. We can't get away from Jason Sanders because we were starting to get in that direction, and then we started breaking down the game. Last week he was put on notice, Dan.
It was more than that. You went to Buck Up Bucko. You immediately went. I don't know what the scales of this are, but I've never seen you get to putting anyone on notice, and you went immediately past that to Buck Up Bucko. What's beyond that?
Well, here's the situation, is that I am, I think, a generous person, but he's kind of weighing on my patience here. You know what I mean? A lot of coaches would just have cut him from this team already. I'm not going to do that. I'm also not a coach, so
the
it's
win's
not within
help.
my power.
Right.
Yeah.
The win. He's lucky they're winning.
He's
right.
lucky that they're winning, but I also don't like the fact that people are saying, like, oh, Mike McDaniel shouldn't have had him kick a 55-yard field goal. That's not really his game. Yes, it is his game. His game is kicking field goals. The distance is the distance. Kick a field goal, kick it through the uprights. That's your job, okay? And I don't want to be the one to tell him that. I want to be a do-your-job guy, but this is going to start costing the Dolphins at some point in time. So, Dan, we're gonna have to raise it a little bit.
Do your job guy is not beyond Buck Up Bucko?
No,
what is the raised
no.
up status? What is
Here's
it?
the situation. It was Buck Up Bucko last week. This week, unfortunately, we've reached probably the ultimate or penultimate warning. Shape up or ship out.
No.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Oh, that's it?
Shape up or ship out.
Amazing.
Well, what does that mean? Next one missed, you're gone?
Shape up or ship out. He doesn't want to find out. I don't want him to find out. So shape up.
Cost us a game and you're out.
Or ship out.
It feels like.
Well,
know?
you got to be proactive there. You got to do it before he costs you the game. You're saying next mistake, you're gone because he
Nope.
hasn't cost him a game, but he's made the mistake that could cost you both games.
I'm saying shape up or ship out. And I
That's
don't
all
want.
you're
I don't want
saying.
him to know what's next. I don't want him to know
But
what's
I
next.
feel like ship out's pretty clear.
shape
Yes.
up or ship out. Nope. Shape up or ship out.
Shape
It's a
up
it's
or
a
ship
strong.
out.
It's a strong warning. It's shape up or ship out. Dan, you'll learn this when you're a parent. This is what happens. Sometimes you make these threats.
Fake threats.
You make these
Fake threats is a
All the
huge thing
time.
with
and you
parenting.
hope that they
Never
work.
follow through.
You hope that they work, and you don't really have a next step in mind at the time. Like when I said Buck Up Bucko, I thought that was harsh enough, and we weren't going to have to get to shape up or ship out. But here we are. Now, if I'm going to be completely transparent here, I don't know what's next. I don't know what's next. But I'm going to have to figure it out if he makes me figure it out. And that's a big part of parenting. I like to think of myself as Jason Sanders' father, not his coach. Not a fan. His father. I want things to work out for him. Shape up or ship out.
Don't make me turn this season around.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Is the key to good parenting fake threats?
Yep.